Hey YouTube, this is Gamma896 with my next review for you guys. Now we'll be looking at The Hobbit, written by J.R.R. Tolkien. This was first published in 1937. The edition that I'm holding in my hands is the 75th anniversary edition published by HarperCollins Limited in 2011. This book is a prequel to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, as most people know. I picked this up for a few reasons. One, I wanted to read the book in preparation for the upcoming movie of The Hobbit, with Ian McKellen reprising his role as Gandalf the Grey. Two, I really wanted to see if this book and The Lord of the Rings live up to the hype and the praise that most people I know give the books, and I just wanted to see if also people who've recommended the movies to me, because they've apparently read the book, and I wanted to see if it'd live up to the hype. The story is told from a third-person perspective, with our main character being Bilbo Baggins, who's a hobbit who lives in Bag End in the Shire. Basically, Bilbo goes on an adventure with a company of 13 dwarves and Gandalf the Grey, the leader of the dwarves being Thorin of Enshield, I believe is how you pronounce it, to find and recover some lost treasure. Initially I was quite skeptical about picking this up because I'd heard from many people that Tolkien is a very, very descriptive writer, sometimes going to the nth degree, but as soon as I opened the first page and I started reading the first few chapters, Tolkien's writing style is very, very easy to get into and very easy to follow, and he does an excellent job with his descriptions, as he really paints you a he more than paints you a picture. Actually, most writers will in effect paint you a picture of what's going on with the characters and in the various worlds and the dialogue that they put into their stories, but Tolkien is more along the lines of a sculptor, because he gives you a very, very detailed picture of what's going on in terms of the characters, the dialogue, the descriptions, and all other aspects of the story. So again, I didn't have a problem with his descriptions or his writing style at all, so my initial skepticism about picking this book up was completely and utterly ill-founded. I picked this up in my local HMV of all places, in the books that are going to be made into movies section. It wasn't actually that expensive actually. I think I picked it up for about £6, I think, something like that. So anyway, so over the course of the story, we have Bilbo, Gandalf, and the company of 13 dwarves, led by Thorin of Enshield, as they go on this journey to try and recover this lost treasure of theirs. Also, the characters are all three-dimensional, well-rounded, and really likeable. You really come to care about not only Bilbo but also his companions as well. And this is just, in my opinion, this is one of the great prequels to what is hopefully going to be, because I'll be hopefully reviewing the Lord of the Rings trilogy at some point after this, the start to a fantastic, epic journey of characters in a fantasy world. And yeah, so hopefully, again, this and the Lord of the Rings will live up to the hype. But so far, my expectations have been met considerably well with this book, probably more so than some other writers actually, with possibly one exception being, probably because I'm biased, because I'm a fan of the TV show and the books, which are Song of Ice and Fire, written by George R.R. Martin, or based on the Game of Thrones TV series. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I highly recommend it to fans of fantasy already, or newcomers to the fantasy genre. Many people consider this to be one of the great fantasy books written by ultimately the father of the fantasy genre, as many people consider Tolkien to be the creator of the fantasy genre in general. For those of you who have possibly seen the movie trailer and you want to check the book out, please do so. I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you've seen the Lord of the Rings movies, again, pick this up and pick up the Lord of the Rings as well, because if this book is anything to go by, then I'm sure the Lord of the Rings will be even better than this and surpass even my expectations of what to expect from the story from a written perspective, because admittedly I saw the Lord of the Rings movies when they came out I think the first one came out in about 11 years ago now, so it's quite a long time ago, but I've only just recently picked up the book, like I said. So overall, like I said, I highly recommend it to newcomers of fantasy, fans of fantasy already. If you want great characters, great storytelling, and just a really detailed and full of life fantasy world, I highly recommend this book. And yeah, so if you like this review, guys, please comment, rate and subscribe. This has been Gambit896 signing off. Take care, guys.